The anticipation bubbled within Timothy Kincaid like the frothy waves around their diving boat as it zipped through the pristine waters of South Australia during the blistering hot summer of 19. The golden sun painted the sky, its warmth dancing on their skin, and the sea breeze carried a salty tang that invigorated the senses. The sparkling, crystal-clear ocean stretched infinitely, promising a world of wonders beneath its surface. Timothy was accompanied by his closest buddies, Larry Graham, Julius Till, and Andy Chapman. They were embarking on a scuba diving adventure of a lifetime, guided by Randall Arthur, an experienced diving instructor. The excitement was palpable, mingling with nervousness as they approached the dive site. As the boat came to a gentle stop, anchored over the dive spot, the group began to prepare for the dive. Gears were checked and secured meticulously, each strap and buckle a lifeline in the watery depths below. The rhythmic sound of air tanks being filled resonated, adding to the growing anticipation. Randall, their diving guide, gathered them close, his voice steady and reassuring yet laced with enthusiasm. He delivered the final instructions, emphasizing safety and the marvels they were about to witness. His expertise and composure helped alleviate some of the nervous energy in their stomachs. The moment arrived. Timothy stood at the boat's edge, the salt-kissed air tingling against his cheeks. He peered into the watery expanse below, a world he was about to immerse himself in. With a deep breath and a surge of excitement, he plunged into the welcoming embrace of the ocean. The initial shock of the cool water soon subsided, replaced by a serene feeling as he descended further. The underwater world unfolded before his eyes in a kaleidoscope of colors and life. Beautiful corals swayed gently, their hues ranging from soft pinks to vibrant oranges. Shoals of fish darted around, painting the water with flashes of silver and gold. Timothy's amazement grew as he explored the depths, the anxiety replaced by awe and wonder. The marine life, so diverse and intricate, seemed to exist in harmony, an underwater ballet of nature. The gentle swaying of the seaweed, the darting fish, and the ethereal play of light through the water left him breathless. In this peaceful underwater realm, he swam alongside a magnificent seawall. The colors were breathtaking. Shades of blue and green melded into one another seamlessly. It was a tranquil and surreal experience, a dance of aquatic life in a world unknown to many. As Timothy continued his swim along a massive seawall, an unexpected and alarming sight suddenly disrupted the tranquil atmosphere. The gentle waves were interrupted by erratic movements that caught Timothy's attention in his peripheral vision. Intrigued yet cautious, he turned his head to investigate, and his heart skipped a beat as he witnessed a bone-chilling scene. There, in the vast expanse of the ocean, were two great white sharks, both formidable in size and power. One of the sharks measured an imposing 12 feet in length, while the other was even more colossal at a daunting 14 feet. They were heading straight towards his friends. He watched in horror as his friends began to panic when they noticed the colossal predators heading their way. Their frantic movements sent ripples through the water as they swam desperately towards the surface. The atmosphere turned tense and chaotic as fear gripped the group, the reality of the situation sinking in. Julius, one of Timothy's dear friends, was in terror as one of the great white sharks lunged and latched onto his torso. Its serrated teeth pierced his diving suit, puncturing his flesh. The horrifying sight left Timothy paralyzed with shock and helplessness. The shark thrashed violently, with Julius caught in its powerful jaws. In that moment of unspeakable horror, the shark momentarily let go, giving a false glimmer of hope. But within an instant it struck again, a savage and merciless assault. The shark ruthlessly attacked Julius once more, biting his head off in a gruesome act of savagery. Timothy's terror reached a horrifying peak as he witnessed the nightmarish scene unfolding before his eyes. Julius's limp, headless carcass slowly sank into the sea's dark depths, leaving a trail of blood in its wake. As he helplessly watched Julius's lifeless form descend, Timothy's heart sank further when he realized that another friend, Larry, was suffering a similar fate. The second great white shark wasted no time in its relentless pursuit. It swiftly sank its teeth around Larry's neck and shoulders, immediately snuffing out the life from him with ruthless precision. Timothy's eyes were fixed on his friend's body as it writhed in pain and despair, every movement a testament to his enduring agony. It was a horrifying and heart-wrenching sight that Timothy was forced to witness, as Larry's body convulsed in the throes of agony before eventually becoming limp, succumbing to the fatal injury inflicted by the relentless predator. Panic surged through the remaining survivors as adrenaline and the initial instinct of survival woke them from their stupor. Andy, Randall, and Timothy, their hearts pounding in terror, frantically swam toward the surface, their minds consumed with the hope that the sharks would be content with their earlier prey. The urgency of their escape fueled their strokes, pushing them to their limits. Breaking through the surface, their gasps for air mixed with the dread still clung to them. The crew on the boat, alerted to the dire situation, acted swiftly. They threw buoys attached to ropes into the water, hoping to provide a lifeline to the desperate divers. In the moment's chaos, the three survivors grabbed onto the buoys, their grip desperate and white-knuckled. The buoy became their lifeline, a symbol of hope amidst the nightmarish events that had just unfolded. With a sigh of relief, they felt a semblance of safety as they clung to the flotation devices. The crew aboard the boat worked as a team, pulling the buoys and the clinging survivors toward the vessel. The water became a battleground of wills, the survivors yearning for safety, the crew determined to rescue them. With each pull, the distance between the survivors and the looming threat of the ocean widened, bringing them one step closer to the sanctuary of the boat. But suddenly, as they were nearing the boat, one of the great white sharks shot out of the water like a torpedo, targeting Andy with frightening precision. The air turned thick with tension as the monstrous predator lunged at Andy, its movements quick and savage. The great white shark's gaping maw clamped down on Andy's neck and torso, its razor-sharp teeth sinking deep into flesh and bone. Andy, overwhelmed by the force and ferocity of the attack, was dragged back into the unforgiving depths of the ocean once more. The scene was a horrifying display of nature's brutality, leaving Timothy paralyzed with shock and dread. Timothy's piercing scream shattered the air, echoing in the vast expanse of the sea. He felt paralyzed, his body unable to respond as fear gripped him tightly. At that moment, a hand suddenly yanked him forcefully out of the water, breaking the stranglehold of panic. It was Randall, and together with the crew they hoisted Timothy out of the water and onto the boat. Amidst the chaos on the boat, Timothy was overwhelmed by a profound sense of helplessness. The frantic activity and cries for help seemed distant, drowned out by the weight of the situation. The crew urgently called for emergency rescue, though the grim reality was all too apparent. It was already too late. The horrifying truth set in as they grappled with the knowledge that the two great whites had decapitated Timothy's three best friends. Surviving the harrowing incident was a testament to his resilience, but it did little to ease the emotional scars and trauma that would forever haunt him. The indescribable loss and the horrors he had witnessed would remain a part of him, a constant reminder of the fragility of life and the friends he had lost that day. As the sun began its slow descent toward the horizon, its golden hues painted a mesmerizing panorama over the charming coastal haven of Cape Crest off the coast of Australia. With its quaint beach town allure, this coastal gem had an almost otherworldly charm that beckoned travelers from all corners in search of their enchanted escape. Mark Howard and Emily Hoffman, two young souls yearning for a romantic weekend escapade, were no exception, as they were also captivated by the magnetic allure of this coastal haven. Mark, a fervent surfer, had always felt an irresistible pull toward the ocean's embrace, enticed by the raw, untamed waves that beckoned him. Emily, more cautious in approaching the sea, deeply admired Mark's enthusiasm for the sport. She could see the genuine passion and excitement reflected in his eyes whenever he spoke of conquering that elusive, perfect wave. That fateful summer weekend in 1992 held a significance beyond the waves. It was a precious opportunity for them to break free from the monotonous routine, a chance to rekindle their connection amidst the soothing symphony of the ocean's embrace and the tender whispers of the coastal breeze. As the couple arrived in Cape Crest, they were greeted by the rhythmic crash of waves and the fresh scent of salty sea air. The beach was dotted with families building sandcastles, sunbathers soaking up the sun, and surfers eagerly awaiting their turn to ride the waves. Mark couldn't wait to hit the water. He had heard of a renowned surf spot known for its powerful waves and the adrenaline rush it provided. It was exactly what he craved. Emily, although a bit hesitant, decided to give it a try, wanting to share this adventure with Mark. The sun was beginning to set, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, as the couple donned their wetsuits and grabbed their surfboards. They paddled out into the ocean, the waves crashing against their boards as they ventured further from the shore. Mark's excitement was palpable as he scanned the horizon for the perfect wave. He could feel the adrenaline building within him, ready to be unleashed in the rush of the ride. Feeling slightly anxious, Emily focused on the setting sun's beauty, trying to calm her nerves and immerse herself in the moment. Unbeknownst to them, lurking beneath the churning waves, a great white shark had sensed their presence. The scent of nearby seals and the vibrations from the powerful waves had drawn the apex predator into the vicinity. As the couple paddled further out, Mark spotted a promising swell approaching. With an eager grin, he positioned himself, ready to catch the wave. The powerful force of the ocean carried him, and for that moment, everything else faded away. He was one with the wave, the adrenaline rush surging through him. Emily's heart pounded as she stood there, her eyes glued to Mark's every move. A mixture of awe at his skill and a silent prayer for his safety was constantly playing in her mind. She knew how much this moment meant to him, but an unshakable unease lingered within her. As the sun dipped below the horizon, its fading light cast a growing shadow over the water. Then an immense force emerged from the ocean's depths in a shocking and utterly terrifying turn of events. It was so powerful that it propelled Mark off his surfboard, sending him soaring several feet into the air. He became a helpless figure suspended against the twilight sky before gravity took hold once more, and he came crashing down with a resounding splash into the churning water below. Disoriented and struggling to find his bearings, Mark desperately tried to swim towards the surface. Unbeknownst to him, his frantic movements in the water had drawn the attention of a formidable 13-foot great white shark, which had mistaken him for a seal in distress. Breaking through the surface, Mark frantically searched for his surfboard still attached to him. However, he remained oblivious to the ominous fin gliding stealthily towards him. He realized the impending danger only when he turned, but it was too late. Suddenly, heart-stopping, the great white shark lunged at Mark. His instinct was to raise his hand in a feeble attempt at protection, but it offered scant defense against the onslaught. The shark's jaws clamped down on Mark's right hand, its serrated teeth sinking deep into his skin and muscles, ruthlessly grinding against his bones. A primal scream of agony erupted from Mark's throat as the shark thrashed violently, worsening his wounds and ripping flesh with each savage motion. Panic seized Mark as adrenaline coursed through his veins, compelling him to react with sheer desperation. He punched the menacing shark with his remaining hand in a frenzy while repeatedly kicking its belly. Each blow was a manifestation of his primal instinct to survive, a defiant struggle against the relentless force of nature. As he fought to keep himself above the water, the cruel reality of the situation became evident. The shark's sheer size and power gave it a significant advantage. It was horrifying as the massive creature exerted its strength, overpowering Mark. Helplessly, he was dragged beneath the surface, the ocean swallowing him in its cold, unforgiving depths. Emily's heart pounded in her chest, her eyes wide with horror as she witnessed the nightmarish scene unfold before her. The once serene waters now churned with a horrifying mixture of blood and foam, swallowing Mark whole. Frantic screams tore from her throat, each desperate plea for anyone to rescue her lover. Panicked, Emily's survival instinct kicked in, propelling her to retreat from the treacherous waters. With every stroke, she fought against the relentless pull of the waves, her mind a blur of fear and determination. She pushed herself towards the distant safety of the shore, her body a vessel driven solely by the primal urge to survive. Emily's anguished cries echoed across the beach, cutting through the carefree atmosphere like a siren's wail. Surfers and sunbathers turned, their faces contorted in a mixture of shock and dread, as they turned their attention to the gruesome spectacle playing beyond the surf. Soon, a frenzied whirlwind of activity consumed the once peaceful coastline. Boats and helicopters scoured the turbulent waters, their crews straining against the relentless tide. But despite their desperate efforts, Mark's body remained elusive, swallowed by the ocean. As the hours wore on, hope dwindled like a fading ember. The town of Cape Crest grappled with the harsh reality of the savage shark attack that had stolen one of their own. The news spread like wildfire, leaving the community cloaked in a collective shroud of disbelief and mourning. The once vibrant beach town now stood a sad testament to the ocean's unyielding nature. For Emily, the loss was a wound that would never fully heal. The trauma of that fateful day etched itself into her soul, a constant reminder of the gaping maw of the abyss that had claimed her love. The crash of the waves against the shore now carried an ominous weight, each sound echoing the presence of the ocean's most fearsome predator. Amidst the sweltering embrace of Florida's summer in 1985, the relentless sun beat down mercilessly upon the waters surrounding Jupiter Inlet. Jake Reynolds, a seasoned 35-year-old fisherman, had cultivated a deep connection with his aging boat, a weathered vessel that had been a steadfast companion through countless maritime adventures. During this expedition, however, he was not alone, as he was joined by his kindred spirit, Donnie Wilkes, an equally ardent lover of the sea. Their vessel swayed gracefully in harmony with the rhythmic caress of the ocean's undulating waves. The boat steadily ventured further from the shoreline, lured by the allure of capturing an elusive quarry. The air carried the salty scent of adventure, a silent promise of triumph over the relentless sun as they cast their lines with hopeful hearts. Jake's experienced gaze canvassed the expansive horizon, a palpable anticipation that seemed to shimmer in the sultry air. Then, as if summoned by destiny, the tranquil silence was jolted by the electrifying zing of the fishing reel. Jake had snared something big, a massive marlin. Beads of sweat trickled down Jake's weathered face, marking the strain as he wrestled with the formidable resistance of his fishing rod. His muscles pulsed and protested against the protracted duel. The marlin, refusing to yield to the fisherman's efforts, stood as a formidable opponent, a living testament to the untamed forces that dictate the natural order. This struggle persisted under the relentless afternoon sun, an arduous contest pitting Jake's determination against the marlin's struggle for freedom. In a moment when triumph felt imminent, the calm sea erupted into a frenzy of foam and gnashing teeth. A colossal 15-foot great white shark, the epitome of an apex predator, burst forth from the depths with primal ferocity. Propelled by sheer force and instinct, the creature seized the marlin, sending shockwaves across the ocean. Amidst this chaotic scene, Jake was violently yanked overboard, entangled in a whirlwind of bone-chilling terror. The boat pitched and rolled violently after the struggle, the previously calm sea resembling a tumultuous battleground. Jake struggled to regain his balance amidst the surging waves and disorienting chaos. Meanwhile, the oceanic behemoth lurked beneath, circling and preparing for another assault. In a heart-stopping moment, the great white lunged from the depths, its malevolent eyes fixated on Jake. The massive jaws snapped shut, sinking razor-sharp teeth into Jake's left leg. The excruciating pain tore through his body, and he screamed, a primal cry of agony that echoed across the vast, unforgiving ocean. The teeth pierced flesh and bone, a vice-like grip that threatened to drag Jake into the ocean's depths. Panic surged, adrenaline pumping as Jake fought for his life. He kicked and punched, summoning every ounce of strength in a desperate bid to free himself from the maw of the fierce predator. The water turned into a horrifying mix of blood and salt water, as the shark's attack inflicted deep wounds on Jake's leg. The metallic smell of blood filled the air, adding to the tension of the life-and-death struggle unfolding in the once serene ocean. Each moment felt like an eternity, marked by searing pain and an overwhelming sense of desperation. It was a brutal fight for survival against an unyielding predator. Then, in an almost unbelievable turn of events, the great white shark let go of its tight grip on Jake's leg. The jaws that had clamped down on him slowly released their hold, granting a fleeting moment of relief in this life-or-death confrontation. The battle, fueled by a surge of adrenaline, now teetered on the edge of uncertainty. It could have been Jake's frantic and desperate attempts to fight back, targeting sensitive spots on the predator that made the shark hesitate. Or perhaps, amid the chaotic struggle for survival, the shark realized that Jake was not the intended prey. Jake's leg was mangled despite the reprieve, the damage severe and life-altering. The wound oozed blood, staining the sea with a sickly shade of red. Jake struggled to stay afloat, his strength waning as he grappled with the unimaginable pain. Thankfully, Donnie, his loyal companion, was aboard the boat. In a desperate bid to save his friend, Donnie acted swiftly, throwing a buoy attached to a rope into the water. He reeled Jake in, his muscles straining against the weight of his injured comrade. Once aboard, the extent of Jake's injuries became agonizingly apparent. Once a source of strength, the leg was now a horrific sight. Flesh torn, bone exposed, and blood flowing relentlessly. The boat's deck became a gruesome scene, slippery with the blood that ebbed from Jake's wounds. Donnie's hands moved with urgency, attempting to stem the bleeding, the panic in his eyes mirrored by the situation's urgency. He radioed for help, his voice laced with desperation as he steered the boat towards the distant shore. Time was slipping away, and they were racing against the inevitable. The rescue team awaited on the shore, their senses heightened by the situation's urgency. The boat docked, and Jake was rushed to the hospital, a grim battle for his life and limb unfolding within those sterile walls. Hours passed, and each critically skilled surgeon fought to save Jake's life. The damage was severe, and the decision was agonizing. Jake's leg had to be amputated to prevent the relentless advance of infection. In the aftermath, Jake woke to a reality forever altered. His strength, once rooted in his limbs, had been irrevocably changed by the cruel whims of fate. The scars ran deep, physically and emotionally, a reminder of that harrowing day in the clutches of the ocean's apex predator.